this video, the remedy that's giving hope to CKD stage 5 patients, and also the blood pressure med that actually protects kidneys. Spoiler, it's not what you're taking, and why your vitamin D supplement is making things worse. Catherine here, I'm a doctor of natural medicine, and today I will answer your questions. I received a ton of questions about reversing stage 5 CKD from multiple people, so I'll start with that. So the first question is, can stage 5 really be reversed? Well, my answer is yes, you can still improve your GFR in stage 5, or at least stabilize it for a long time. I've seen this happen with many of my patients, and we have scientific literature to confirm it as well. Now, improving or stabilizing your GFR doesn't necessarily mean that the condition has been completely reversed, as in the damage has been undone. I'm not saying damaged tissue magically regenerates. Diabetes and hypertension do leave scars. However, if by reversing we mean a reversal of the trend, GFR numbers start to go up instead of down, yes, that's possible. That's basically what most of my patients want to achieve when they start working with me. And that's fair. That's what I'm here for. But while I can't always guarantee a positive outcome, there is something I always tell every single one of my patients. If you take action today, not tomorrow, not after the holidays, today, if you attack this disease like your life depends on it, because it does, your outcome will be infinitely better than doing nothing. Not everyone escapes dialysis, but those who fight always have better outcomes than those who just wait. And some shock their doctors so badly they order new lab equipment. Yes, I've seen that happen. Okay, next question, and this one's crucial for stage 4 and 5. What is the most effective remedy for CKD stage 4 and 5? So what remedy would I recommend to try to tip the scales in the advanced stages? Well, there are two types of remedies that have been studied in stage 4 and 5 CKD with good results. First, antioxidants. Antioxidants such as NAC or N-acetylcysteine, CoQ10 or coenzyme Q10, and selenium are all linked to benefits in terms of slightly improved GFR. Even in the more advanced stages, they can bump your GFR, maybe by just a few points, but every point counts when you're on the edge. However, the real game changer in my experience, your gut becoming your backup kidney. So let's talk about what's probably 2025's biggest breakthrough, the kidney-gut axis. Your gut and kidneys are in constant conversation, and if your kidneys are screaming for help, but your gut is on permanent voicemail, well, we have a problem. This is a common issue. I see it happen in many patients. Scientific literature calls it gut dysbiosis, but what's really happening is that your gut has become a toxin factory. Uremic poisons flood your blood, inflammation explodes, kidneys deteriorates faster. It's a death spiral. And we have known this for years, and finally, we also know why that happens. The culprit, your good bacteria are dying. Bifidobacteria and lactobacillus, your kidneys' bodyguards, are facing extinction faster than common sense in the American healthcare system. But what's the solution, you ask? Well, the goal here is increasing the levels of bifidobacteria and lactobacillus in the gut, alright? So here's the battle plan. Step 1. Flood your gut with reinforcements. A renal probiotic with billions of lactobacillus acidophilus and bifidobacterium longum is what you want. These aren't random bacteria. These are the exact strains that reduce uremic toxin production. Lactobacillus acidophilus and bifidobacterium longum. Step 2. The fiber that replaces dialysis. Even more important than bringing more troops to the front is feeding those troops. When it comes to probiotics, we do that with fiber. In stage 4 and 5, there is only one fiber supplement I would recommend, acacia fiber. Not psyllium, not metamucil, acacia. Acacia fiber is the most effective fiber in the advanced stages because it can be administered in high doses even in patients who have a water restriction. You can take it with literally just a tablespoon of water, and that's why this supplement was even studied as a way to replace dialysis in patients who weren't able to tolerate or couldn't receive dialysis. So, this is what I recommend. Combine these two, a probiotic and acacia. You've just built yourself a third kidney, one that works 24/7, costs pennies, no needles required. Now guys, before we see the next question, there is one complaint I received from so many patients that I want to address. What more and more people are telling me is that they feel that their nephrologists have already written them off and they're just counting down the days until they can schedule them for dialysis. Just managing the decline and preparing the paperwork. When patients tell me my doctor says there is nothing we can do or they just keep adding blood pressure medications, I know exactly how they are feeling. The medical system has given up on them. And guys, here's the thing. That doesn't mean you should give up on yourself. My approach is fundamentally different because I believe in starting with aggressive dietary intervention rather than planning fistula placement. Instead of just adding another blood pressure pill to your already overwhelming medication regimen, I investigate why your blood pressure is elevated and address the root cause. To do that, I offer personalized one-on-one consultations designed to help you achieve real improvements, not just manage decline. If you're ready to work with someone who still believes in your potential for improvement, email me at catherine@newhopeforkidneypatients.com or click the link below. Okay, back to your questions now. Our next question comes from City Asna 25. How much psyllium husk can we take per day? So psyllium husk is a very interesting fiber supplement because just like acacia fiber, it can feed the good bacteria in your gut, protecting your kidneys. And it also boasts several health benefits. For example, it can help with cholesterol levels. And you should see the dose used to achieve this result on screen right now. Something else psyllium husk has been used for in scientific literature is weight loss. Large trials support the notion that this fiber supplement can be very beneficial for weight loss. And as you can see, the dose that was used to achieve this is basically the same as that used for reducing cholesterol levels. So yeah, that's the dose I would recommend. Even a bit more if you want, but not too much. Even a bit more if you want, but not too much. Now, to minimize these benefits, you should take psyllium husk right before meals with a large glass of water. When mixed properly, it forms a thick gel-like substance that helps you feel full before you even start eating, which naturally reduces your caloric intake. However, there are important warnings you need to understand before starting psyllium husk. Many people experience gas and bloating if they start with too high doses, so always begin with just 1/4 of the recommended amount and gradually increase over several weeks. And with psyllium husk, the most critical safety concern is hydration. You see, psyllium husk absorbs enormous amounts of water. If you don't drink enough water with it, this fiber can cause dangerous blockages in your throat or intestines. This is why I only recommend psyllium husk for patients in the early stages who don't have fluid restrictions. If you are in stage 4 or 5 with limited fluid intake, this supplement could be dangerous. Yeah, taking psyllium without enough water is a bit like a science experiment. Will it gel? Will it choke me? Let's find out. Not recommended. And since we are talking about how to improve your gut health, here is a very important question about fermented foods. Yasmin asks, can we have kefir? Thank you, Yasmin. This is a very interesting question. Kefir is indeed a probiotic powerhouse containing up to 61 different bacterial strains and billions of CFUs per serving. This makes it one of the most potent probiotic foods available, far exceeding yogurt and many other fermented products. But not all commercial brands of kefir have live cultures, so it is important to check the label to ensure that it contains live and active cultures. I mean, if they pasteurized it after adding the probiotics, all you're getting is pretentious milk, because kefir is milk after all. So here's the most important question: should you drink kefir in the first place if you have CKD? Well, no guys, I don't recommend it, and here's why. A single cup of this milk contains 255 milligrams of phosphorus, and this is animal-based phosphorus we are talking about, which your body absorbs almost completely. I mean, that's your entire phosphorus budget blown on one drink. It's like spending your rent money on latte, but somehow worse. Yeah. You were trying to feed your gut bacteria, but you are calcifying your arteries instead. And let's talk about protein. That same cup has over 10 grams of protein for just one cup. And that's not fine. It will make sticking to a low protein diet impossible. Kefir, the health food that's about as skinny friendly as a boxing match with Manny Pacquiao. Sure, you could try it, but why? Guys, remember that if you have CKD, you should have no animal-based products in your diet. So while drinking kefir may sound healthy, if you have CKD, the cons far outweigh the pros. Get your probiotics from fermented plant-based foods or from specialized supplements designed for kidney patients instead. Up next, this question comes from a user called CabJCB. She asks, what is the best high blood pressure medication to be on? The age-old question, which pill will disappoint you the least? It's like choosing your favorite DMV. They all suck, but some suck slightly less. And well, the oversimplified answer here is an ACE inhibitor like lisinopril. Why, you ask? Well, because ACE inhibitors and ARBs like losartan are first-line treatments in CKD. They don't just lower blood pressure, they also protect your kidneys from proteinuria. And some big studies suggest ACE inhibitors may even have a slight edge over ARBs in CKD patients. So yes, technically ACE inhibitors might be the better choice here if we absolutely need to declare a winner. But plenty of people can't tolerate them. ACE inhibitors also have strong side effects, and in that case an ARB is the best choice. But it's never one size fits all. Some people also need a diuretic added, some need a calcium channel blocker, and some need more than one med. Your prescription should be tailored to you. And I know what you might be thinking, boring answer, my doctor could have told me the same thing, but hey, if you came here for just another flashy theory that lands you on dialysis instead of protecting your kidneys, well, wrong channel, buddy. Anyway, I do have one recommendation your doctor wouldn't probably give you, which is make sure you need as little medication as possible, because the higher the dose, the more side effects. And if your side effects are beating up your kidneys, well, I mean, doesn't that defeat the purpose? So, how do you keep blood pressure under control naturally? First of all, keep your body weight under control. Being overweight doesn't just make CKD progress faster, it also makes blood pressure harder to control. Second, avoid salt like it's the devil. Also remember to follow your water allowance if you have one. Now, and this is the part Big Pharma doesn't want you to know, get moving. I'm not kidding. We've got trials showing aerobic exercise can lower blood pressure even in patients with resistant hypertension. And resistant hypertension is when a patient is taking 3 or more high-dose blood pressure medications to no avail. So yeah, think about this if your treadmill has become the most expensive clothes rack you've ever owned. Okay, let's talk about something else that could help lower blood pressure naturally. Vitamin D. This is a question I got from Moni Ann B, 8197. She asks, should you take a vitamin D supplement even when your levels are normal? Oh, thank you. That's a very interesting question, because what we will know about vitamin D in CKD patients is that more than 80% have vitamin D deficiency, and probably even more have levels that are considered inadequate. But let's say that you are one of those lucky few CKD patients that have normal vitamin D levels without taking any supplements, because they do exist. Probably. Well, if you are one of them, you are somehow getting enough vitamin D from food or from the sun. So in this case, unless you are changing your diet, no, you don't need a supplement. But, and this is important, this only applies if you were able to reach this normal level without a supplement. And a CKD stage 4 or 5 patient with normal vitamin D levels without supplements is about as common as a doctor apologizing for running late, which is to say, I've heard rumors but never witnessed it myself. Basically, the only CKD patients in stage 4 or 5 that I've seen with normal vitamin D levels are those that have just completed a vitamin D therapy. In that case, it's recommended to supplement vitamin D in low dose to maintain those newly achieved normal levels, alright? I've even included 25 micrograms of vitamin D in Rena Best, my renal multivitamin, because that's the optimal amount to keep your vitamin D level stable. Because here's the thing, the vast majority of CKD patients, their vitamin D levels are lower than my expectations for the latest Netflix remake. Okay guys, another vitamin question. This comes from CryptoTime3691. He asks, is vitamin C really alkaline? I thought it's acidic. Interesting question. And yeah, I know why he is confused about that. It's called ascorbic acid, but in my recent post I said that this vitamin is alkaline. So why is an ascorbic acid acidic? Well, that's just like asking why the Democratic People's Republic of Korea isn't democratic. Let me explain. First of all, yes, you should care about the acidic or alkaline nature of the foods you eat. Alkaline forming foods protect the kidneys, while acid forming ones damage them. But a lot of people get confused about acidic versus alkaline foods. They think if it tastes sour like a lemon, it must be acidic for your body. And if you've ever tried putting some ascorbic acid, aka vitamin C, on your tongue, well, that's even more sour than a lemon. So, is this vitamin acidic then? Well, not really. You see, in the context of CKD, we don't really care about the acidity of the food itself. We only care about the potential renal acid load, or PRAL. This is a measure of the amount of acid or base a food item produces and that the kidneys will have to deal with. And the PRAL of a food is determined by its overall content of protein, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. And here's where things get confusing. Lemons and oranges, despite tasting acidic, actually reduce acid load, as we can see. They are alkaline. Meanwhile, a steak doesn't taste sour, but it creates a huge acid load. So here's the thing. Using taste to judge acidity is like using WebMD to diagnose yourself. Seems logical, but it's always wrong, and it causes unnecessary panic. So don't judge by taste or the pH in a glass. What matters is the metabolic effect after digestion. That's the only thing your kidneys care about. Think of it like having house guests. Steak is the life of the party who throws up on your carpet and clogs your toilet. Lemons are the ones who seem a bit sour at first but end up doing the dishes and taking out the trash. But what about vitamin C then? Well, vitamins don't really have a PRAL. They are not acid forming nor alkaline forming. But almost every single food containing vitamin C is alkaline forming. Great for protecting the kidneys. So if your diet is naturally rich in vitamin C, your kidneys are going to be happy. And if you want more kidney saving tips, my video appears for you, and this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye!